and a happy 2026 to you all. Welcome back to my channel. Now, some people do things like veganuary, where they spend the whole of January eating healthily to maybe shift a few pounds they may have put on over the holiday season. Well, we're not going to do any veganuary in this household. That to me is just another form of organised programming. And we like butter and we use lard. Dan likes his meat, I like fish. So it's just not going to happen. However, what I am doing is, or rather what we are doing is, we are living on £20 a week for the whole month. Today is the 2nd of January and it's a Friday. We had our weekly milk delivery early. We get milk from Milk and More and also eggs, but they didn't have the Channel Island milk, so this week we have £14.20 to spend. And then next Friday we will have the next lot of money, whatever it may be. So here is my £14.20. There we go. Now we don't need very much because we've got a fair few leftovers in our refrigerator from all the Christmas feasting. We also have a well-stocked pantry. We had a food hamper as one of our gifts, so that's free food. We also have our cupboard of dried foods as well, like rice, pasta, that sort of thing, and flour. So anything I take by way of beans or pulses or flour, I will calculate and subtract that from the amount that we have for the week, which is £14.20. If I use any tins from the store cupboard, I will also work out what deduction I need to make. And then, depending on how much we have left from our ration of money, I can then add that to the following ration of money. So I hope that all makes sense. Anyway, there's a bit of arithmetic involved and I'm pretty good at arithmetic, so it should be quite interesting. Now, all I need to buy today is a cucumber and some corn flour. I also need to buy some herbal tea. If I can find a spray oil, then that might be useful for the air fryer, although we don't use a lot of oils or that kind of thing. And that's about it. I can't think of anything else right now that we need. If I do, then it may jog my memory when I'm actually in the shop. But anything like seasonings we won't cost out, or leftovers that we have kicking about. Once the food is gone, it's gone. One of the things I am aiming to show you that is, if you do your prepping, emergency prepping or store cupboard prepping, however you like to think about it, then you can eat pretty well on very little money. So I'm going to walk down now to Broadstairs, so let's get started. Well, I'm back from my shopping trip to Broadstairs. I bought some blood pressure tea from the apothecary. That's £3. That will last us about 2 weeks. We like to have a cup or two of herbal tea every day. We have a variety, but we wanted this one specifically because, like most people over the festive period, we've overindulged. This was expensive. It was £2.20. It will last a long time, but it's gone up 70 pence from the last time we bought any. We had this organic cucumber, that's £1.40, and we had some reduced price potatoes from Tesco for £1.12. There was no corn flour. I'll have to look elsewhere for that. For lunch, I am going to have a roll. This is a homemade roll that I got out of the freezer. We buy bags of flour from France. The bread flour is 45 pence for a kilo. I used 250 grams and I get 4 rolls out of that, so this works out at about 3 pence. So we're down to £6.45 for our budget. I'm going to have this with some leftover salmon pate from our festivities. I'm also going to make a Moroccan chickpea soup from leftover vegetables and chickpeas that we had over the festive period as well. And this is how we will be eating for most of the coming week so that our budget stretches. Dan had got me a curry, which was in the freezer in the yellow ticket section for £1.97. I rather stupidly got it out, didn't I, Merlin, earlier this morning, having no idea that today's few groceries would cost such a lot of money. Anyway, this now takes our remaining money down to £4.48. I'm going to enjoy this curry now. I've got some leftover chips from a fish supper we had about a week ago. The bread was free. We used the food bank and community shop down in Margate, and all the bread is free. I'm going to enjoy this now and I'll sign off and see you tomorrow. Night all. having a quiet day today. I'm trying to embrace slow living a little bit more. I haven't really done very much. My breakfast was more or less free. The tomatoes were very, very cheap. Just after Christmas from the food bank, and the bread was also from the food bank, and that didn't cost anything. And I had some nice lemon water, which I do have most days. So a little bit of Marmite on half the Warburton thin, and my tomato and my hot water and lemon, and I'm all sorted. I'm going to go down the Emporium now for a little bit, just to stretch my legs really, and just see how the pitch is doing. Might need tidying up. Lunch today is going to be my Moroccan chickpea soup. So I'll see you back in a bit. It's really windy, it's very cold as well. The cats are fed and I've been out in the garden briefly. They've had a wander in the garden. Even Merlin has ventured out, but he's back in now. I brought some things out of the Emporium that had not sold before Christmas. It's time to fix myself a little bit of lunch. Dan is home this evening. He was at his mum's yesterday. He had tunings in London and he's had tunings today. He'll be getting the train back from London later this afternoon. He decided to give the car a rest. He's done an awful lot of driving and sometimes it gets his ankle. So I'm going to rustle up some lunch now. This is the Moroccan soup that I made yesterday afternoon. It's got extra chickpeas in. I've added some coriander and a squeeze of lemon juice. And I'm going to have that with some biscuits from our hamper and a bit more of the leftover smoked salmon pate. To trying this soup. That's so tasty, and it costs virtually nothing of my budget to make. I think Dan will really like that. I'm enjoying it. These are proper Italian olive oil crackers. I've got a little bit of cream cheese from the fridge and some more of that smoked salmon pate. It says on the packet that the olive oil crackers go well with cheese and pate. They certainly do. This is really tasty. I might afterwards have a little bowl full of leftover trifle from New Year. Yesterday, I did have enough to eat. I tried this Challenger course last year just for about a week and it was very hard going. But I've been doing more research and more tweaking and more thinking about things. Although I've always been a thrifty cook, I've gathered some really good methods over the last year. So yesterday I wasn't hungry at all. I had enough to eat. But if I hadn't had the sandwich thin, then I might have been a little bit peckish in the night. but that just helped to bulk out the curry. So I'm going to have a quiet afternoon, might do a bit of sewing, and I might watch an episode of Midsummer Murders on YouTube. Another soup I'm creating, which will be eaten during the first days of the new week. I'm going to add a bit of our homegrown rosemary. This is lovely. A lot of these recipes, of course, I'm using leftovers. We bought stuff before Christmas and just after, either from the greengrocer or the supermarket or from the food bank and community shop, where things are very inexpensive indeed. And of course we have been gifted a variety of items as well, either as individual gifts or as the hamper. So I guess that as the challenge progresses, finding cheap, filling and nutritious meals for the two of us for £20 a week, including the milk and egg allowance, is potentially going to be more difficult, especially if the weather continues to be cold and, dare I say it, we even have snow. Of course, your body needs more fuel in very cold weather. But so far we're doing okay, and it's allowed me to splash out on one or two slightly more expensive items that I could probably have waited for, but undoubtedly would have needed anyway in the next week or so. Well, it's supper time and I'm going to have some bubble and squeak made with leftovers. I've got a little bit of stuffing to go in as well. Here we go. I've got the pan heating with a bit of lard and I'll stuff this in. I've got some leftover gravy as well, and that's dinner tonight. Well, that was so tasty. I really enjoyed it. Dan will be home shortly. I'll see you tomorrow evening. Bye for now. Enjoy the full moon. Well, welcome to Sunday. Dan's back. We finished off the New Year's trifle last night and a drop of the champagne that was left in the bottle with some orange juice that was left in the fridge. We've done pretty well with leftovers. Anyway, today we're using a couple of our egg ration. I'm going to be making an omelette for breakfast. I put some ghee in a pan. I'm going to do some leftover mushrooms for Dan. We've got a few that were left over from before New Year. I'm going to fry those off for him, and I'll probably put a bit of red onion in the omelette and maybe a grating of cheese. We'll probably see at the table. Well, it's cracking on a bit this morning. We were up a bit late. So it's a small breakfast. Dan has his mushrooms in a bit of butter. I cooked it in the onion pan and I added a drop of water as well to help them steam off. And then there's half the 2-egg omelette, which has a little bit of grated cheese on and some red onion. And we've got 2 rounds of wholemeal buttered toast. Now this bread was from our food bank and community shop haul, so remember the bread was free. And if you're watching at Jamie's Rock and Soul, bro, I know how much bread you get through. So if you have a similar shop in Blackpool where there's no membership and anyone can use it and the bread is free, it might be another good way of feeding your family, especially when the pennies are tight, because I know that especially in the nighttime industry, work can be a little thin on the ground or else you don't get paid on time. So there we go. And then we've got some herbal tea. This one is hibiscus. And then some of my homemade kimchi. I usually have some kind of fermented vegetable every day. This has got cumin seeds and ginger in it as well. It's red cabbage. So we're going to enjoy this now. Ooh. Tuck in, babe.
That's very nice.
It looks like breakfast was successful. Happy days. Well, I was thinking about what we might have for Sunday dinner this evening. And as I've used quite a bit of the budget already on Friday buying those few things, I thought I would make something that would last a couple of nights, tonight and tomorrow night. So the ingredients I'm charging out for, you'll see above, and the New Balance. But I'm ploughing on with using up the vegetables that we already had in, which are in various conditions of freshness, some better than others. Yesterday I used a leek for the soup, which was definitely on the turn, but I managed to rescue most of it. The only things I'm using that will be charged out are this tin of tomatoes. They were about 40p. This tin of beans was a freebie from a friend of ours. We did an exchange on things. So these are in vinaigrette, which I don't want, so I'm going to drain these. And then a little bit of sweet corn. We got a kilo bag from Farm Foods for £1. I'm only going to use probably about 50 to 100 grams of those, and a couple of portions of brown rice. I get big bags for about £6, so very little money. I'll put on the screen anyway what we have left. For dessert, we've got some apples which are also getting past their best, so I'm going to stew at least a couple of those. I'll core them, take off any bad bits, fill them with a bit of my leftover mincemeat, and they will be nice poached with the last of my homemade ice cream. So another cheap meal. Tomorrow I may do some kind of potato dish to go with the rest of the stew. So I'm going to crack on with it now. I'm using one of our little winter squashes that we grew. They've kept really well in the utility. No bad bits on there, so I'm going to chop that one up. And remember, if you grow your own fruit and vegetables, why not keep at least some of the seeds so you can use them in the next season. Well, we're having some soup that Dan heated up with one of my rolls at 3p each, and some stuff from the fridge. More leftovers, the last of the salmon probably, and a bit of cream cheese. I've been making some salad for Dan's packed lunch tomorrow. I've made a little bit too much. I've got a little bit there for me, but that will do on Tuesday as well. I'll just have to top the salad bowl up a little bit, so that's some good prep. It keeps really well in a Tupperware container with a lid on. So this is Dan's salad. I'm going to dress this up a little bit with some extra virgin olive oil and a little apple cider vinegar, and I'll stir it through. And with that, he's going to be taking probably some of the celery, link and potato soup, because there's not much left of the Moroccan spice soup since lunch, and probably a sandwich thin from Warburton's. This came from the food bank and community shop, so it cost nothing, and a little bit of cream cheese. Now that should do him nicely and should keep him full until the evening. This is just what we need. It's turned out really well. We went to Spiritualist Church this afternoon and Dan saw one of his friends there. They had a nice chat. He's the organist there. So it was very pleasant. I got a nice message from loved ones departed, rather a lot of them. Give this a go.
That's really nice. Perfect for a cold day.
Is there enough on the plate for you?
Oh, plenty, yeah. And keep me going.
Well, that hasn't cost very much at all.
No.
Not a bad Sunday dinner, really, considering we're on such a tight budget due to the cost of things on Friday. But hopefully we will make the challenge work for us a little bit better as the days go on. And at least we've got quite a few leftovers. Otherwise we might be in trouble. It definitely pays to have a few store cupboard essentials in there that you can just call on when necessary. So we'll see what the pudding's like, shall we, as well? That's nice. It's got a bit of a kick. I'm afraid yours has fallen apart a bit, though. Yours
Oh, that's all right.
This has got cinnamon in, star anise, cloves, and white wine reduction. It's a bit of the pudding one that we had left over from New Year's Day. But it smells really good. Oh, some cardamom as well. I'll give you some of my ice cream. This is the last of the ice cream from Christmas. Merlin's very tetchy tonight. He has been fed. Let's give this a go. That's really good. It only took about half an hour to prepare. I didn't add any sugar. It's just a little bit of sweetness from the pudding wine that we had left over. Goes well with the ice cream. I think that's a hit. I'll let you try it. You can tell me what you think. I think it's been a successful day today for food, and probably for tomorrow as well. I'm certainly not hungry. I feel like I fed well, don't you?
Yes, that's really nice.
This is definitely a success. So this is how you do it, folks. You Make sure you use all your leftovers, don't throw anything away, and make sure you have a pantry and a store cupboard to fall back on, and you can produce some good meals. I mean, there is obviously quite a bit of prep involved because you're cooking from scratch, but there's no preservatives or additives or anything of that nature. So my advice would be maybe to batch cook. So if you don't feel like cooking one evening, it doesn't matter, you can just take something out of the freezer or from the fridge. So I will see you tomorrow for day 4. Well, I've had my breakfast. I had a slice of wholemeal bread that I got from the food bank and community shop. I had it as French toast, so I had an egg with a drop of milk, fried it off in some ghee, and I served that with a little bit of my homemade kimchi. I was in pain overnight. My sciatica is bothering me today. It seems to have flared up a bit. It was not great yesterday either. I've changed the shoe raise. It was getting a little low, so that should help. I've ordered a new back brace as well, one that's made in the UK, which should be coming, and also a homeopathic massage oil, which is a good alternative to taking painkillers, and I can use that 2 or 3 times a day. I don't like pharmaceuticals, they don't agree with me, and I don't want to be taking stuff like that. Last night I had 3 Sisters stew. I do love tomatoes. I know, I'm aware that I should be avoiding nightshades and grains, but I think for me reducing them is the way forward. I'm not guided to giving anything up, just reducing these things to how I used to. I love tomatoes though. I can live without peppers to a degree, but tomatoes I love. But I think I just need to listen to my inner voice and also my guides as well, and I won't go far wrong. That was the broad base of the message I received last night when I went to Spiritualist Church, that I know I listen to my guides and I usually know what to do, and that for me is the best way. I'm not the disposition that can just give things up. That's only going to make me want them more. So I think for me the best thing is to go back to reducing them in my diet as much as possible. I'm having a better day today, which is good at any rate. I've done some exercises. I'm going to do some Tai Chi in a bit. I've used my heated massager. I injured my back in September when I was doing some heavy digging. I have had disc problems for over 30 years, but I just went too far. And then I got better, and then I was out doing some more gardening later in October, early November, and I was pulling fennel root, and sure enough I got the bad back again. So again, I need to watch my gardening habits, at least until I've made a full recovery. I have had a look online and I've found somewhere that I think resonates with me. It's all about finding someone who you're going to resonate with, or a place indeed that you're going to resonate with, but it's quite expensive and I haven't got the budget for that. So I'll carry on with my Tai Chi and pendulum healing and see what happens. I may even just go down to the Spiritualist Church to get some healing. I've been listening to meditation music on YouTube, the healing frequencies, and targeting at certain areas that I know I need to address. So we'll see how that goes too. With me, I find if I've got quite a few energetic blockages, I have had a lot of bereavement over the last year or two and upset in general, then it will always target the areas, the physical areas with which I suffer. So anyway, I'm having a bit of a better day today. Not perfect, but better than yesterday. So I'm going to get on with some work. For lunch, I'm going to have another slice of bread. That'll be all I have today, bread-wise. With the last of the smoked salmon pate, I've done myself a little bit of salad. I've got lettuce and I've got some cucumber and just a couple of quarters of tomato, some red onion, and that will be dressed with extra virgin olive oil and a little apple cider vinegar. And if I get peckish this afternoon, I'll have an apple or maybe some grapes and a piece of cheese. Lunch, and shortly I am off to my piano lesson. I'm still learning a Mozart piece, Allegro in B flat major or K333. It will probably take quite a while. I've been doing it a few weeks now. I'm at the end of page 2, about to start page 3. There's 10 pages altogether, so it's quite a masterpiece. Alas, the way I play it, it is not. Well, I'm back from my piano lesson, which went okay. It's really cold outside, freezing. I'm going to start page 3 of my piece from tomorrow. It went quite well today, so I think I can do another line or 2 more. I achieved quite a lot earlier this morning. I did some of Dan's accounts and I also edited the first day of this vlog, and I also started writing a blog for my WordPress site on the Three Sisters stew, which hopefully I will be able to publish sometime later this week. I'm just having a cuppa now. I've had mainly water to drink today, and I'm in need of a hot drink. And I've got a little cube of cheese and a few grapes. And now I'm going to have a lie down. Dan's home about 6 o'clock, so I'll try and get a bit of rest while I can. Well, it's about 5 o'clock now. I've just fed the cats and I've got to prepare Dan's lunch for tomorrow. He's got work during the day and then he's got a meeting. He won't be back till later on in the evening, so I want to keep him packed up well. So when he gets home, he doesn't really need anything to eat unless he wants a bit of fruit. Now, I got this just after Christmas from Iceland. They had a lot of reduced price things. When I say reduced, I mean by maybe as much as 70 or 80%. I found in this Ginsters, it had been £1.50 and it is now only 38p, so it's been reduced a couple of times. So I'm going to cook that up for him so he can take that. Then you'll remember there's the salad I made extra yesterday evening. I've kept it in a little Tupperware box, so I'm going to just top that up. And he has got some soup. Now, there is some of the potato and leek soup left, but there may be some Three Sisters stew left after supper tonight that I can make into a quick soup for him, and then tomorrow he can heat it up and put it in his flask, and that should keep him nice and full tomorrow while he's out and about. So this is what it looks like. I open it up. It's quite a nice size, isn't it? I'll be putting the oven on in a little while to reheat the Three Sisters stew. At the moment it's in a big ice cream tub, so I'll just decant what I need into an oven-proof container, and then the rest I can just cook up after supper as a soup for him. And I'm going to do a vegetable layer bake in the slow cooker. I've got some ghee already in there. And it's a variation on my pan haggerty recipe, which you'll find in my vault. I'm going to chop up a bit of onion, a little bit of potato, some swede, and also a little bit of Savoy cabbage that needs using, which was also filthy cheap from Iceland after Christmas.
Try the veg.
I've done a sort of vegetable bake. It's not that much potato. I'm trying to limit how many nightshades I have in a day.
It's really nice. Got a bit of crunch, a bit of smoothness.
Yes.
Some herbs in it.
It's got a little bit of butter in as well, just nice. A little bit. And some thyme from the garden.
Lovely.
Do you like that?
That's really nice.
Well, that was successful. Clean plates all round. And it did indeed taste even better than it did last night. All those flavours have had time to develop. Really, really good. Really enjoyed that. Really filling. The vegetable pan haggerty style dish was also really successful. Everything worked really well together. So I'm going to make Dan some soup for his flask tomorrow. We're going to do a bit of tidying up tonight, and then relax for the rest of the evening. Well, welcome to day 5. The cats are boisterous this morning. They've been outside. It's looking a bit frosty. I'll show you. Whoa boy, look at that. It's cold as well. It was -2 first thing this morning, but it's more like -8 in wind chill, and the humidity is 86%. So even in winter, it's very humid here. Here's Miss Robin. Bless her. I'm going to make my breakfast now. Today I have decided to do a little bit of porridge with some chia seeds. I'm not having any bread. The oats are from an artisan mill up in Dumfries and Galway. They were quite expensive. They were £4.20 for a kilo. I'm only having a little bit of porridge. I can't eat large bowlfuls of the stuff. And then I'm going to top that with a little drizzle of unsweetened mango and passion fruit kefir. So that's a healthy breakfast. A pinch of salt and a few chia seeds. That all goes into a saucepan. I'm going to add some milk now. I usually do a mix of whole organic milk and water. My brother uses mainly water and has milk with his, like Dad used to do. Dad was Scottish, but Dan loves milk. He makes his very milky. He likes lots of milk on his porridge as well. Me, less so. I usually do half and half. It usually comes out nice and creamy. And then I'm putting it over a low flame and I'll stir it periodically. It takes between 20 minutes and half an hour. I don't have a spurtle, which is a Scottish porridge stirrer. A similar thing was used by the medievals for making pottage, that thick soup. But the end of a wooden spoon does the job. If you don't want to be quite so poncy, you can just use the main part of the spoon. Here we go. Look how nice and creamy it is. That's ready to serve, so I'm going to take that off the heat now. It took about 20 minutes. I think I'm just going to have a cosy day today. I don't feel like doing much. The sciatica's a bit better than it was yesterday, but it's still sore. The things I ordered are supposed to be arriving today, so I'm looking forward to that. That's yummy. Very nice. The kefir's really nice mixed right through the porridge. It's a really good combination with the chia seeds. If you don't like oats, you can always make a chia seed pudding with various ingredients. It should set me up for the day. Here is my lemon water. I try to drink enough fluid through the day. It might be a green tea, although yesterday I had mostly water, or nettle tea or blood pressure tea or whatever I fancy. I usually have 1 cup of tea a day with milk. Coffee fewer times, but I usually start the day with hot lemon water. It's good for clearing out any toxins. and it helps to keep your blood pressure low as well. It's also good for the cholesterol. I don't really have any of those problems, but it is always a good idea to maintain some kind of a healthy lifestyle, even in these winter months. Anyway, I feel like this is going to be a kickstart to the day. I'm going to create 1 or 2 recipes today, I think. Might go out this afternoon to a garden centre and have a wee wander, see what's in the sale. I could do with looking for a new slow cooker. I thought I might use the Master Pro for slow cooking, but I haven't used it really much at all. Dan uses it for air frying, but that's about all. I like these gadgets at the time, but I find I never use them. I prefer more traditional methods. I'm going to get a new slow cooker. Something not quite as big as the other big one that we had, something in between. Maybe for a family of 4 or 6 rather than a family of 8 or 10. We're down to about £2.90 of the budget on day 5, so we're not doing too bad. So I feel I can make maybe a bit of dough without going overboard. I can probably do 1 or 2 little extras. I think we'll still stay in budget. I'm going to do a calculation on Thursday night or Friday morning of what we've got left and think about some of the things that we've used from the fridge, like butter, and I might subtract the cost of those from what we have left remaining in the budget. This is very nice, I'm enjoying this. I've packed Dan up well. He's busy all day and he's got a meeting after work, so he won't be back until later on this evening, so he won't need feeding. He's taken the 3 Sisters soup, as I'm now calling it, and his steak slice, that was 38p of course, and his salad, and a sandwich thin as well, which is the free bread. He put some of my friend Lorraine's homemade lemon curd on that, and it's really delicious. He fancied that as a snack, although he said he might have it for breakfast, although it's not the healthiest of options, but it's up to him. I did think of having an apple with my yoghurt. I sometimes have fruit with my yoghurt, other times not, but I might have it as an afternoon snack. The apples in the bowl we had several days before Christmas, maybe as much as a week before Christmas. And although it's humid in this house and in the area in which we live, it has been quite cold, so they're okay, but they need using up, so I might stew them. They might be nice for breakfast tomorrow morning, either on their own or with a bit of kefir or maybe some milk porridge. So I'll think about doing that with those. In the meantime though, I'm just going to sit back and enjoy my breakfast at leisure. So bon appetit! I'm going to make a potato soup for Dan. I won't eat this. It's got a medium sized potato and a small potato and some onion and some garlic. I'm going to let him eat this. I'm trying to not have too many nightshades. I might be having some potato this evening so I don't want to push my luck. So this will be done for the next couple of days, tomorrow and Thursday, that is. And as usual, I'm going to use some of my ghee. This is raw ghee from Fen Farm Dairy. I'm going to do it in the slow cooker over here with some chicken stock, and I've got some rosemary and thyme. I've decided to have the pasty for lunch. It looks great. I can't wait for it to be baked. I'm having a late lunch. It's going to be probably 2:15 by the time I eat. I've only just put it in the oven. I was trying to do some work upstairs in my office. I've also done a couple of recipe vlogs as well, so it's been a bit full on. I'm going to have some baked beans. Now this tin of baked beans costs 50p. At best I'll probably have half a can, because this is my main meal, so that's 25p. This is free gravy. It was left over from a fish supper that we had just after Christmas. My mill bought us the fish supper, so this again, I've taken it out of the freezer, is a freebie. We're lucky that we have one or two chippies down here in Thanet that do gravy. The one we got it from is the Delicious Fish Bar in St Lawrence's. Always really good fish and chips from there. However, the gravy for me needed a little bit more seasoning, so I've just put in a little bit of pepper and a pinch of salt. I will heat those up in a while in the microwave, but for now I'm going to go back to my video editing for the next 15-20 minutes. Oh wow, look at that. I've added a little raw honey, just a teaspoon, and as it cools it will release its natural sugars. Beautiful apple, gorgeous. I used the roughest of the eating apples, and I found a really old Bramley apple in the back of the fridge. It was getting manky, so I put that in it as well. Whoa, beautiful. Look at this. Let's give this a go. So let's break this pasty open. Oh, look at that. You can see it's bread dough, but it's got a bit of a pastry finish. I'm going to take a bite out of it. That's the filling. That's nice. One of these has about half the calories of a normal pie, because there's no fat. It's the fat that makes it more calorific. The filling has plenty of seasoning too. It's full. Yum. Well, I'm going to munch on my dinner now. I'm going to enjoy this thoroughly. I'm going to slather it all over with gravy. Yum. Look at that, that's perfect. Look at that, that's beautiful. So I'm going to split it into about two. I'll do one slightly bigger than the other because I've already had some bread dough pastry. I don't want to be having too many more carbs. I'm having soup for supper along with egg and cress roll and some salad. I'm having this for supper. I've got a nice salad with my kimchi and an egg roll, and I'm really peckish, so I'm going to have some pop chips. I'm going to do myself some vegetable soup as well. I've done a lovely salad. I had some egg left, so I thought he might as well have that as well. And there's a pickled onion, one of my homemade pickled onions, and various bits and pieces. And then with that, he's going to have a lovely thick piece of my homemade Bambi pie. I made this before Christmas for Dan and my brother. They had half a big pie each. It's hot water crust pastry. It's got some nice chicken jelly around the inside. So you've got a mixture of venison and red currants, and then a layer of pancetta there in the middle, and a little bit of onion. It's smoked pancetta. I'm going to keep it whole because it's nice and crispy. I'm wrapping that up and I'll put it in the fridge, and that's his lunch for tomorrow, along with some soup, and that should do him quite nicely. Well, it's been another reasonably successful day. I've managed quite well with food. I'm hungry this evening, but the weather's been very cold. And I've been very busy around the house. I didn't get to go to the garden centre. I've done loads of vlogging today. And I did some paperwork and some editing. My back's been holding up a bit better this afternoon. I'm gradually on the mend, but it's taking quite a long time. Anyway, I've had good meals. I look forward to Dan trying the potato and garlic soup I made him earlier today, and also one of the jam tarts. I haven't had a jam tart. I have refrained. They were very tempting. I'll have one tomorrow morning probably. So I will enjoy my supper now, and I will see you all tomorrow for day 6. Look at that, yum. This is my homemade bread. And very nice it is too. See you tomorrow. frosty today. I had my chia seed pudding this morning, stewed apple with a bit of kefir and a dessert spoon of chia seeds. Very nice it was too. I've been out in the back garden, that's why I've got my woolly hat on, just for a short time to see what I can see. I was having another look at the gutters. The gutters need cleaning out, they're full. We had rain in the night, so the water butt is also overflowing. We get lots of rain here. I've collected some to use for washing. Anyway, my back is feeling a little better this morning. It was very sore this morning first thing, but Dan massaged this amazing oil I got off an eBay seller. I'll show a picture in the corner. It's all natural. It's a nut base oil, and then there's things like juniper, lavender, eucalyptus thyme and various other herbs, and it's very soothing and it's helping me a lot this morning. I'm trying to get off taking any painkillers at all. I do take a child's dose, which is just one tablet of something 2 or 3 times a day, along with my homeopathic remedy. But earlier in the week I did manage not to take a tablet in the afternoon, so I'm really pleased about that. When you have a bad back injury or strain, these things do take a long time to recover. And I did my back in again in November, of course, pulling out fennel root. In fact, my dentist injured his coccyx quite badly some years ago when he worked as a dentist part-time at a prison and had to pull out prisoners' teeth. He ended up with a very bad back for quite a long time. He has to be careful with it. So these things do take quite a time to heal, and obviously if you can get more rest, so much the better. So I'm going to have a gentle day again. I'm going to see about doing a little bit of sewing. I have curtain lining pieces to attach, so I'll be doing that today, and then maybe I might watch an episode of Midsummer Murders and think about lunch. I have another roll. Dan forgot to take it with him this morning, so I'll be having that for lunch with fried egg, fried in ghee and a bowl of soup. Well, I've done the task I needed to do. I've also practiced the piano. The cats are fed. It's getting on for lunchtime now, but before I have lunch I'm going to make myself a couple of fish cakes for tonight. I've got some leftover salmon. This was from Boxing Day. It's been in the freezer. I've defrosted it overnight. I also have some leftover mashed up veggies. There's a bit of potato and swede and carrot. I'm going to flake up the salmon and add it to the box, give it a good stir round, add some salt and pepper. Salt is a good binding agent, especially if you're short of eggs or you don't want to put egg in it. Not everybody does. And then I'm just going to form them into patties. I'm not going to coat them with breadcrumbs or anything. I'll have those later with salad and some homemade chips. until this evening just to firm up. I'm quite happy with those. And now I'm going to just peel a potato or so for some chips, and I'm going to parboil them. They'll be done later in the oven. The egg roll and the soup were tasty and filling. The yolk ran down my fingers, but that was just part of the fun of it. Well, it's about 5:15 now. It's heading for tea time. The cats are fed. I'm going to make myself a drink. I've not had a cuppa this afternoon, but I've had to make up some organic skimmed milk. I have some Bovo-free organic skimmed milk in the pantry. It's on a 1:7 ratio. I used 50 grams of the skimmed milk powder and then topped it up with 350 grams of water, so that should do until sometime tomorrow, at least until after the milk arrives. The milk and eggs come tomorrow, but I won't be using that until Friday, when we're at the start of week 2. The next thing I need to do is make Dan's salad for tomorrow. I'm giving him some more of the Bambi pie with the same kind of salad, and one of the free sandwich thins, and a combination of what's left of the 2 soups, which are the leek and potato and celery, and also the potato and garlic. It should be quite a nice combination. I haven't made any more soup today. I've had a very slow, gentle day. He's at his mum's tomorrow night, so I've only got to think about myself tomorrow night for food. It'll be something simple. I quite fancy the thought of a jacket potato, and I've still got half a tin of those beans, maybe with a smattering of cheese. I usually go for something like that when I'm in on my own for the night. Anyway, it's super easy to prepare, and it means I can have a relaxing evening tonight as well, knowing that my fella is going to be well packed up for the day. He won't starve, not in this household, that's for sure. I'm feeling quite content. I've managed to get through the afternoon without snacking. I'm going to sit down for about 15 or 20 minutes now and enjoy the last of the lemon curd tarts. Val had 2 today, Dan had 1 last night, so there's 1 left for me. And I've got my lovely cup of tea as well, so that should set me up for the evening. I might have a nice soak in the bath. That sounds like a good idea, a bit of pamper time. Well, let's try this little beauty. See what this is like. Smells nice and lemony. There we go. That's really nice. I mean, obviously the pastry is slightly chewier than it would be because it's made from bread dough, but it's a lot lower in calories than the average lemon curd tart, and it is really nice. Well, that's it, folks. That's day 6, and tomorrow is day 7, and that means the end of the first week. I can hardly believe that I've almost managed to get through the first week, and at the moment there's still a little bit of money left. Unbelievable. And I haven't really gone hungry, and Dan certainly hasn't. If I think about it, last year I just didn't plan it well at all, even though I only set myself a challenge of £20 per week for the two of us. I didn't really think things through very well. It's gone a lot better this time so far. So I'm going to enjoy my lovely fish cakes and homemade chips, cooked in ghee, finished off in the oven, and I'll see you tomorrow. Welcome to day 7. This is the last day of the first week of the challenge. I'm just finishing off a shot of kefir. I've got my toast and Marmite, the free toast. It's been quite a good week. Last night's dinner was really satisfying. I'm enjoying it a lot more than I was last year. I'm trying to do a bit of work. I'm not in as much pain today either, thanks. That massage oil is incredible, it really is. We were also gifted some organic magnesium balm, and that's really good as well if you've got joint problems or muscle problems, although some people might have a reaction like tingling or itching. It has made me tingle. I've tried it on small areas first, which you should do. But it's not been unbearable, and it's believed that, or it's known that when you've only just started using magnesium balm, you might have a tingling sensation. That usually goes away. So I might give that a go when I've finished this oil. I also remember I've got some other massage oils upstairs in the loft, the Ancient Wisdom ones that are still on my pitch at the Petticoat Lane Emporium. So I might buy one of those off myself as well and see how that goes. But they're not organic, not those particular ones anyway, although Ancient Wisdom do supply a good range of organic products. And I think I might be investing in a few of those this year. People want natural stuff anyway, and at least with organic, you know, it's not got any nasties. The herbs and plants and roots and leaves have not been sprayed with any chemicals or anything else of that nature. So I'm going to be working out today the costings. There's a few things I want to add to the costings, and we have some things left over that are only part used, which I will deduct from the costings. So there's a little bit of arithmetic to do later. I'm going to crack on now with a bit of work. I'm due at my homeopath at 2 o'clock today. I want to have an early-ish lunch, so I'll catch up with you later. that was a really tasty 2-egg omelette with a few leftover chips from last night, which I couldn't eat, and a little grated cheese. It was really tasty, and that set me up for the afternoon. I'm off out in a few minutes to Broadstairs to see my homeopath, and I'll be back later this afternoon. I haven't had any more bread. I've only had one slice of bread today, which was the toast this morning. I'm not planning on having any bread this evening either. So I think I've done quite well, and I'm nice and full. The milk and dairy came this morning, and that will be started tomorrow on day 1 of the 2nd week. I still have some skimmed milk made up from milk powder in the fridge, and that will be okay for a drink later when I get back from my session. I've only used 2 of the eggs this week from the milk and egg ration. The other few eggs I used were left from the food bank. Well, I'm cold and wet. I couldn't get a bus back from Broadstairs. I walked down. It was raining quite hard and it was really cold as well. So I got chilblains on the legs, got my clothes off. I'm in the jammy bottoms. I'm going to have a cosy night in. Though I'm just pot cooking a potato in the microwave, and I'll finish it off in the oven. I'm going to have jacket potato with cheese and beans and a bit of salad. And so I will see you tomorrow for the start of the 2nd week. I'm sorry this vlog is only short, but I'm tired this evening and I just want to relax. So see you tomorrow.